Chapter 44:13. In the Underwater Palace. In the room where Lu Yen was locked up, she was still in a deep sleep, and had been guarding her as if he couldn't get enough of her. And wasn't stupid. He knew that if it weren't for Professor Lu's words, he might have been killed by these people long ago. After all, to these people he was just a shrimp. His death was nothing to be regretted. He didn't have the weight of Su Yu and Qin Chu. The guards would bring some food from time to time, and wasn't in the mood to eat, but he knew that he had to fill his stomach. What if Goddess Lu Yen woke up? What if she could escape from this predicament? He didn't even know where his master had gone, and his last memory was when he followed his master to the North Pole. He slept in the supply station, and when he woke up, everything had changed, and picked up a piece of bread and drank it with a glass of water. Suddenly, he felt a dull pain in his chest, and he felt a sweetness in his throat. Then, the corner of his mouth started bleeding. What's wrong with me? And didn't remember being injured, but he was bleeding for no reason. Moreover, he felt as if his internal organs were being pulled out by someone. That feeling was an indescribable pain, and spat out a mouthful of blood. He threw away the bread in his hand and knocked over the glass of water. He lay on the ground and began to convulse. In the main hall of the Underwater Palace, Linya saw everything clearly. There were surveillance cameras in every room and every place. She could see who she wanted to see at a glance. "Where's Suyu?" Linya asked. Messiah knelt on the ground in a panic. "Why are you kneeling?" "I'm asking you. Where's Suyu?" Linya's voice was cold, and there was even a hint of blood in it. "But Suyu, he has already escaped." Messiah checked the room where everyone was locked up. She found that Su Yu's room was empty. When she pulled out the surveillance footage, she found that Su Yu had indeed disappeared. He was in that well-sealed room. He escaped. "Do you know what you're talking about? How could anyone escape from my underwater palace?" Linya couldn't believe it. "My lord, please calm down. Su Yu didn't escape from us. He had something on him. Furthermore, he was chanting some sort of incantation and disappeared in an instant. I suspect that Su Yu has cracked our secret." "Impossible. How is this possible?" Linya was shocked. "Didn't you see it earlier? Only when he breaks it and goes back can he see that scene. That's why he can move that follower of his. That kid just vomited blood. If he continues to move that follower, he will really die." The Messiah explained everything. Linya didn't want to admit it, but she had to. Such a meticulous plan, such a grand scheme, and a perfect trap that even Professor Lu was involved in. However, Suyu, that little brat, managed to escape. Suyu, this fish that escaped the net? It's good that he escaped. He's not very useful anyway. After Qin Chu comes here, I'll get the red demon and get them all in one fell swoop. Linya clenched her fists tightly, not showing any mercy at all. Of course, when she said, "catch them all in one fell swoop," that included Huamian and the child in her belly. Chapter 44:14. Seeing that and had vomited blood, Su Yu didn't dare to move anymore. He was so scared that he hurriedly put Little Un down on the spot. Then he sat by the bed and observed carefully, just as Su Yu expected, after he stopped touching him and gradually recovered. His face regained its color, and his breathing became stable again. What exactly is going on? Who can tell me exactly what happened? Su Yu was dumbfounded, completely dumbfounded. He suddenly took out his phone and looked at the date on it. It was indeed more than a month before the Chinese New Year. It was the day Huamin's due date was approaching. It was also the day he was kidnapped by Zhao Qingya. But what happened after that? Did he transmigrate back? But why was it like this? There were too many mysteries that made Su Yu puzzled. He didn't dare to touch him. He picked up his phone, put on his coat, and went downstairs. Then, he took out the black Lamborghini Sixth Element that he hadn't driven for a long time from the garage. He sped away from the private villa. The first person Su Yu called was Qin Chu. Qin Chu had always been smart and quick-witted. Su Yu wanted Qin Chu to help him analyze what was going on. However, Qin Chu didn't pick up the phone. Then he called Huamin, but it was the same. Strange. Why isn't he picking up the phone? In Su Yu's impression, Qin Chu rarely didn't pick up the phone. In order to give Huamin and the children a sense of security, Qin Chu didn't turn off the phone. The phone was almost never turned off or muted. It was always at its loudest 24 hours a day. It didn't make sense that he couldn't hear it after so long. Su Yu didn't give up and called again. However, no one picked up. Su Yu felt that something was wrong, but he still decided to go to South Hill Manor to take a look. If he had really transmigrated back, time would have reversed. Then everyone should be here. Qin Chu and Huamin were probably the same people they were before the accident. If Su Yu had told everyone in advance what was going to happen later, then, could it have prevented the series of tragedies that happened later? 15 minutes later, Su Yu's car slowly entered South Hill Manor. The bodyguards of South Hill Manor recognized Su Yu's car, so they didn't stop him. Su Yu parked the car directly in front of the castle. Then, he opened the door and got out of the car. Uncle Li, the butler of South Hill Manor, walked towards him. Uncle Li, young Master Su, it's so late, why are you here? Are Qin Chu and me on home? Su Yu asked anxiously. Yes, both young master and madam are here. Upon hearing Uncle Li's words, Su Yu heaved a sigh of relief. At least they were all here. They were all fine. They were not in the hands of those bad guys. Then can I see them? I have something important to say, Su Yu said to Uncle Li while panting. Yes, please come in with me. Uncle Li knew the relationship between Su Yu and his wife and husband, so he warmly welcomed Su Yu in. They're probably asleep. Let's knock on the door and wake them up, Uncle Li said carefully to Su Yu as he led him upstairs. Su Yu didn't say anything, but his heart was in a mess. He had a bad feeling, but he couldn't tell what it was. In short, he was very unhappy. They arrived at the door of the master bedroom on the second floor. Uncle Li bent down and gently knocked on the door. Young Master Su is here to visit. For a long time, there was no sound from inside. Young Master, Madam? Young Master Su Yu is here to visit you. Uncle Li deliberately raised his voice. But there was still no response. Before Uncle Li could say anything, Su Yu kicked the door open. Then, he stared at the big bed in the master bedroom. Chapter 44:15. Huamin and Qin Chu were lying side by side on the bed. They were covered with an apricot yellow blanket made of natural silk. It seemed like the two of them had fallen asleep. However, Qin Chu and Huamin were both light sleepers. It didn't make sense that they wouldn't wake up even if he shouted. How strange. Young Master and Madam wake up easily every day. They'll wake up at the slightest sound. Why are they still sleeping today? Uncle Li muttered in a low voice. Su Yu walked a few steps to the bed and looked at Qin Chu and Huamin. There was nothing wrong with his face. It was just like how they usually slept. Su Yu gritted his teeth and went to pull Qin Chu up, but the moment he moved, he saw Qin Chu's face turn from red to pale. Beads of sweat even appeared on his forehead. Su Yu immediately understood what was going on and didn't dare to move anymore. He quickly put Qin Chu back to his original position. At this moment, Qin Chu was on a private plane heading straight to the North Pole. He had the location that his mother-in-law had given him. He wasn't in the mood to eat on the plane. He wasn't even in the mood to drink water. He was looking at the night sky outside the window, thinking about how to save people when he got there. Suddenly, he felt the world spinning in his head. That feeling was worse than carsickness. He wanted to vomit but couldn't. In an instant, his forehead was covered in sweat. President Qin, are you okay? His subordinate saw Qin Chu's state and quickly handed him a piece of tissue. I'm fine, Qin Chu said, but when he spoke, his breathing became weak. What the hell is going on? Why did he suddenly feel like this, as if he was going to die? At South Hill Manor. After Su Yu put Qin Chu back to his original position, he fell onto the carpet with a pale face. Young Master Su, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Should we call an ambulance? Uncle Li was scared out of his wits when he saw Su Yu like this. He thought that he had some old illness. Uncle Li, when did they come back? Are you asking about the young master and madam? Yes. Su Yu gasped and nodded. Young master and madam were the same as usual. After they came back, they had breakfast and madam coaxed the kids to sleep. They probably fell asleep at 11 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's only been 5 hours, how did this happen? Su Yu couldn't understand. Since Uncle Li said that they were fine when they came back, why was it like this now? Su Yu didn't dare to touch Huamin again because he knew Huamin's situation must be the same as that of Qin Chu and Xiaoan. As long as he moved, something big would happen. He would either be sweating profusely or vomiting blood. He might even lose his life. However, according to Uncle Li, Huamin was still coaxing the child? Children? Thinking of the word child, Su Yu quickly got up from the ground. Uncle Li, are Pudding and Little Bean at home? Yes, they're sleeping in their room. Uncle Li was stunned. He didn't know why Su Yu was so crazy tonight. Take me to see them. Su Yu couldn't wait to see the twins. He just wanted to confirm one thing. He wanted to see if the twins had the same problem as their parents and Xiaoan. They looked like they were asleep, but they couldn't move. If they moved, their lives would be in danger. Su Yu didn't have time to knock on the door and barged in. Looking at the two children sleeping on the princess bed, his heart was about to clench. No, Pudding and Little Bean. Nothing must happen to you. Nothing must happen to you, Su Yu kept muttering. Then he strode to the bed. Chapter 44:16. Su Yu had just reached the bed when he saw the two children on the bed. One of them got up with a whoosh. Little Bean's hair exploded as she looked at Su Yu in a daze. Handsome Su. Why you here? Huh? Am I dreaming? Little Bean. I'm so glad you're okay. Su Yu couldn't help but reach out to hold Little Bean's face. At this moment, Pudding, who was in a light sleep, sat up. Handsome Su. What happened? It's so late. Why you here? Pudding was still relatively calm. She was surprised to see Su Yu appear at her house in the middle of the night with an anxious expression. There's no time to lose. Get up and come with me. Su Yu felt that the two children were lucky that they weren't affected, but he couldn't let them stay at home any longer. After all, Qin Chu and Huamin were both affected. Although they didn't know what Su Yu wanted to do, the two children trusted Su Yu very much. Therefore, they hurriedly put on their clothes and left with Su Yu. South Hill Manor's butler, Uncle Li, was also stunned. Before leaving, Su Yu said, Uncle Li, I'll take the children with me. If Mian and Qin Chu wake up, tell them not to worry. Tell them that I'm going to the Su family mansion. My mother misses the two children. Uncle Li naturally didn't dare to ask about his masters, especially since he knew that the Su family and the Qin family were close. Lady Su treated the two children as if they were her own granddaughters. After Su Yu picked up the twins, he hurriedly drove away from South Hill Manor. On the way, he was still in a daze, wondering what was going on. His mind was in a mess. On the way, he called Wei Liao, Jiang Xiaowei, Tang Chuan, and even Qin Ning, but to his surprise, no one picked up. Su Yu anxiously hung up the phone. Handsome Su, what happened? Why you picking us up in the middle of the night? Pudding was still curious and couldn't help but ask on the way. Nothing, I just miss you guys. Don't think too much. How about we stay at Grandma Su's place for the next few days? What about my daddy and mommy? Is it really okay to not tell them? Little Bean was worried that her mommy would blame them when she woke up. Ever since she snuck out of the United States and was severely reprimanded by her mother, Huamian had been in the United States. Little Bean didn't dare to run around without telling mommy, therefore, a shadow was left in his heart. It's okay. I'll talk to your mommy and daddy. I might have to go on a business trip with them soon. There's no one at home to take care of you, so you two can stay at Grandma Su's house, okay? Su Yu made up a random excuse. I can, but can I not go to school? Little Bean tried to take advantage of the loophole. All right, you don't have to go to school anymore. Su Yu's answer was vague, but Little Bean was extremely beautiful. Pudding, on the other hand, looked calm and seemed to be thinking about the matter. In less than half an hour, Su Yu brought the two children to the Su family's old mansion. The Su family's old mansion's defenses were very strong. Because of Lord Su's official position, there had always been 3 layers of defense. There were so many bodyguards around. It was precisely because of this that Huamin had stayed at the Su family's house during her pregnancy to avoid Huasiqian's harassment. Of course, Lady Su had a different reaction to their sudden arrival. Before entering, Su Yu was worried that his mother would be affected as well. However, when he saw her coming downstairs in her pajamas, he dismissed this thought. You, it's so late? Why you here? Why are the two babies here too? Lady Su obviously didn't know anything about this. Chapter 44:17. Grandma Su doesn't know that we're here? Pudding raised her head and looked at Su Yu warily. It's an emergency, so I didn't have the time to tell her. But it's fine, you guys can stay here in peace. If you need anything, tell Grandma Su. Don't stand on ceremony. Su Yu patted Pudding's head, trying to get away with it. Although Pudding was already suspicious, she believed that Su Yu wouldn't do this for no reason. He must have something important to do, so she didn't continue to question him. Mom, there's an emergency. I'll leave the children with you for now. No matter who it is, no one is allowed to see them except me, understand? After saying this, he added worriedly in Lady Su's ear, even if Qin Chu and Huamian come, don't let the children go. You can't let them go even if you beat them to death. You, what's wrong? Lady Su was confused. She thought that her son loved Huamin deeply and wanted to snatch his children away. Otherwise, why couldn't he take the children away even if their parents came? It wasn't that Su Yu didn't trust Qin Chu and Huamin. He was just being extra careful. He had seen Layla before, and she looked exactly like Huamin. He was afraid that the pervert would take the twins away. Mom, don't ask anything else. I don't have time to explain. I'll tell you slowly later. Just remember what I said. I'm definitely doing this for the children's sake. After everything is over, I'll tell you properly. Okay, be careful. Although Su Yu had a bad temper and was a little willful over the years, he had always been reliable. Therefore, Lady Su didn't doubt her son's motive. She guessed that he had something he couldn't say. Lady Su held the two children's hands and walked upstairs. Suddenly, the red string around her neck caught Su Yu's attention. What's this? Su Yu pointed at the thing on his mother's neck. Are you crazy? The amulet. I asked for it for you, but you didn't want to wear it. It was in your room upstairs, but I've been having nightmares lately, so I took it out. What's wrong? Before Lady Su could finish her question, Su Yu pounced on her. He pulled out the amulet around his mother's neck. It was actually the one he had been unable to find, the one he had lost. The great compassion mantra on it was still clearly visible. Why is it in your hands? Didn't you give it to me? Su Yu was confused. It's for you, but you said it's superstitious and refused to wear it. You've never worn it. I even begged your dad and grandpa to wear it. You're the only one who doesn't listen. Without waiting for Lady Su to finish, Su Yu tore off the amulet and held it tightly in his hand. What are you doing? Mom, lend it to me. All right, you guys go to sleep. I still have something to do. Su Yu snatched the amulet and ran out of the door. Then he left the Su family's old mansion in a hurry. Sitting in the Lamborghini Sixth Element sports car, Su Yu carried the amulet with him. Then, after taking a deep breath, he closed his eyes and began to chant the familiar incantation. He really wanted to know if he would transmigrate back this time. However, after chanting for a long time, he opened his eyes and was still in the car. The scene hadn't changed at all. What was going on? Su Yu was confused again. He looked at his watch and saw that it was almost dawn. Su Yu took out his phone and opened a WeChat group for rich people. He typed, "Brothers, I feel like I've been possessed recently. Does anyone have a reliable master to recommend me? I'll definitely thank you." Chapter 44:18. Logically speaking, no one would respond to Su Yu's WeChat message in the group at this time. Who would still be awake at 5 o'clock in the morning? No one would wake up so early, right? However, Su Yu's friends were all rich people who loved to play. They were basically the rich second-generation heirs of various families. Therefore, they often played late at nightclubs, had supper, played games, or did some indescribable things with girls. There were also a few who especially liked to play mahjong and fight the landlord. They often booked presidential suites in 5-star hotels and started playing cards. Therefore, Su Yu's words immediately caused a lot of people to explode. Rich man A. Lord Su, why are you still awake so late? Rich man B. Lord Su, are you kidding? It's so strange. What happened? Did you run into a ghost? Rich man C. Since Lord Su asked, we will definitely help. I know a fortune teller. Can you do it? He's a blind old man. He's in his 60s and lives in a square meter in the eastern suburbs. There's a big poplar tree at the door. Have you been there before? Rich man A. Of course not. It's not a fortune teller. Didn't you hear Lord Su say that he ran into a ghost? You should find someone with high cultivation. Rich man D. I know a feng shui master from Hong Kong. He's quite strange. 2 months ago, he was introduced by my father's friend. He came to our ancestral grave. I wonder if he can do it? Of course, they all wanted to help Suyu. However, why did Suyu feel that none of them were reliable? At this time, someone sent him a WeChat message. Brother Suyu, did you run into something evil? Suyu looked at the person and almost forgot who it was. After all, the profile picture and WeChat name were too cartoonish. He clicked on his WeChat moments and looked at the photo. Only then did he recognize that it was a child who was somewhat related to him. He was also a super rich second-generation heir. He was not old, only 21 or 22 years old. He especially liked to play with cars. In the past, he often raced with Su Yu and the others. His family was also very wealthy. He was the only son and was very spoiled by his father. However, it was said that half a year ago, he had contracted a serious illness. He had sought medical treatment from all over the country and even went overseas. In the end, Suyu didn't know how he was cured. Usually, he had very little contact with these children. Little Heng, you're still awake? Well, big brother Suyu, if you're looking for someone who can exorcise evil spirits or exorcise evil spirits, I know someone. Is it reliable? Suyu honestly did not believe the words of a child. These young rich second-generation heirs were actually very naive. They were often deceived by some charlatans. Big brother Suyu, to tell you the truth, have you heard that I was sick before? This time, the child sent a voice message mysteriously. I heard a little about it. Suyu was still puzzled. What does your illness have to do with me looking for a master? Unexpectedly, the child continued with a voice message. Big brother Suyu, actually, I wasn't sick at all. I was drunk and bumped into a female ghost. I was haunted by it. My body had more yin than yang, so I fell sick. Really? Suyu felt that it was a little ridiculous and didn't believe it. Really, why would I lie to you? If you don't believe me, you can ask my dad. My parents didn't know what was going on at first, so they took me to many hospitals. In the end, the doctors treated me as if I was mentally ill. Later, a relative of my dad's hometown in the countryside asked if it was an evil spirit and took me to the countryside. He found a crazy Daoist priest. Later, he wrote a talisman for me and drank a bowl of water. Then I was fine. That magical? Suyu was surprised again. Chapter 44:19. Fincham, so if you're like me and encounter something evil, if you trust me, I'll take you to the countryside to find that person. I think he might have a way. Seeing how serious Heng was, Suyu was tempted. After thinking for a moment, he replied on WeChat, Okay, take me there. It's best if you leave now, I'm in a hurry. Okay, come pick me up at my house now. Let's go now. Little Heng was also very happy and immediately agreed. On his way to pick up Heng, Suyu called his friends again. He wanted to discuss it with them, especially Old Wei, who was smart. Unfortunately, they still did not pick up. Suyu suddenly had a terrifying thought. Could it be that everyone had been tricked? Like En, Qin Chu, and Mian? At the thought of this, Suyu shivered in fear. 5:20 a.m. The sanitation workers had already started to clear the snow on the road. The winter in the north was always so cold that it made people shiver. Even in the car, Suyu felt the extremely low temperature in the car. After picking up Heng, the two of them headed straight to the place Heng had mentioned. They didn't say much along the way. To be honest, Suyu was terrified by what this kid had said, so he didn't dare to talk about it. There were many legends about the supernatural in the north. Among them, the house protector Immortal and the shaman god were especially legendary. The older generation firmly believed in this. Many times, when children were sick, the hospital couldn't treat them, but these so-called charlatans could. Su Yu didn't believe in these things at first because he was from the army. Therefore, he had always been an atheist. Therefore, he never believed in the safety talismans that his mother gave him. However, he had no choice but to believe all of this, because such a thing had happened to him. Although he didn't know if this rural Daoist priest that Heng was talking about really knew some martial arts. However, at this moment, he could only try his best. That was because he had a vague feeling. If he couldn't solve this matter, then there might be a lot of trouble. Reality proved that Su Yu's feeling was right. If it wasn't for Su Yu this time, everyone's lives might be in danger. Of course, this was all in the future. After running for more than 3 hours on the highway and hundreds of miles, after getting off the highway, they walked for another 2 hours on a rural road before arriving at the mountain village that Heng mentioned, Jade Water Village. It was a mountain village that lived in seclusion deep in the mountains. The only way to the outside world was a seemingly ordinary narrow path. Su Yu's Lamborghini's sixth element was indeed beyond recognition. But fortunately, they had managed to reach their destination. At the end of the village, there was a very old thatched hut. "It's here, big brother Su Yu." Heng pointed at the shabby house. At this time, the door of the house was pushed open, and a man in tattered clothes walked out. His hair was rough and his clothes were tattered. Because ups. However, Su Yu saw that he was a cripple. He walked up and down. "He's a cripple?" Su Yu frowned slightly, as if he regretted coming to this place. He felt that it wasn't reliable. Don't underestimate him. It said that he broke his leg because he helped someone transcend the tribulation and revealed the heavenly secrets. Is he that godly? Su Yu was skeptical. At that moment, Heng shouted from afar, "Master Wu." When the man heard this, he slowly raised his head. He saw Su Yu's complicated gaze. "You guys can go back. I can't control his matters, nor do I have the ability to." The man only glanced at Su Yu and coldly rejected the request. Chapter 44:20. Su Yu was skeptical at first, but this person's words made Su Yu feel that it was interesting. Of course, he wouldn't leave. Nothing had been resolved, so why should he leave? After going through so much trouble on the mountain road, he had suffered so much. If he left now, wouldn't he have come here for nothing? Therefore, this time, before Heng could say anything, Su Yu walked over. "Master Wu." "Hello, I'm Su Yu." "I don't care who you are, I can't control your matters." The man's tone was especially cold, and he didn't even look at Su Yu. "Master Wu, please help my brother. This is my relative's brother. He's a very nice person." Seeing that his master was being unreasonable, Heng quickly stepped forward to smooth things over. "Even if he's your father, I can't help him." The man was still determined. "Master Wu, I know you're not an ordinary person. You're not one of those swindlers. Otherwise, we wouldn't have driven so long to find you. Let me put it this way, as long as you can help me, I'm willing to spend any amount of money." Su Yu had always been a godly tycoon and believed that there was nothing money could solve. That was why he dared to make such a boast. "Heh, do you think you're so great just because you're rich? Let me tell you, you're just lucky. Otherwise, all of you would have been wiped out. If you're dead, what do you need money for? You're really ignorant. Since you're back, just live your life peacefully. You're really lucky." Master Wu's words almost made Su Yu kneel down in excitement. If he had doubted this person's strength before, but now, Su Yu was about to give him a thumbs up. He didn't say anything to Heng along the way and didn't reveal what he had encountered. Or rather, no one knew about the strange things that had happened to him. But this dirty-looking man knew. If he wasn't a god, then what was he? Hearing this, Su Yu grabbed the man's arm. "Master Wu, I'm here this time to ask what's going on. Please help me. Don't you Daoists always talk about fate? There are so many experts in the world. It's fate that I'm able to come to your house. You can't just leave me in the lurch." To his surprise, the man frowned slightly. He glanced at Su Yu and said impatiently, "Didn't I tell you that you're fine now? You came back safe and sound. Why do you want me to save you? What about my friends?" Upon hearing Su Yu's words, the man's expression changed. It's good enough that you're able to come back. Don't worry about the others, they won't be able to come back, and it's about time, it won't be long, they'll all die. Hearing this, Su Yu was even more dissatisfied. She got down on her knees in front of the man. Master Wu, I know you're an expert. Please forgive me for offending you just now. I'm sincerely here to ask for your help. I don't know what you need, but feel free to state any conditions. I'll definitely try my best to fulfill them. Please save my friends. I don't even know what happened to me. This in itself is a form of irony. You, or rather, you guys, offended someone. You've been targeted for a long time, so you were lured into a trap. Su Yu, this isn't a small matter. The other party is an expert, and I can't solve it. I can't beat him. It's not that I'm a coward, but I really don't have the ability to help you. So, why don't you ask someone else? Seeing that Su Yu had knelt down, this person's attitude changed a little. Hearing this person's words, Su Yu's heart sank again. Chapter 44:21. Seeing this, Hung couldn't stand it anymore. He had known Su Yu for so many years, but he had never seen his proud brother so humble. Master Wu, please help my brother Su Yu. He's really in trouble? Just treat it as doing good. Su Yu lowered his head and gritted his teeth. He felt terrible. Suddenly the amulet fell from his neck. This person reached out and caught it. His speed was so fast that it made people click their tongues. You've been to Prajna Temple? My mother asked for this. She's been friends with the abbot of Prajna Temple, Nun Xian, for many years. So that's how it is. What a coincidence. It seems like I have to take care of your matters today, the person called Master Wu chuckled. What are you? Su Yu was confused. That person looked at the amulet, then skillfully tied a knot and put it around Su Yu's neck. Nun Xiai is my senior sister. Master Wu's words surprised Su Yu. Logically speaking, Prajna Temple was in a different direction from this place. They were in different directions. This person actually knew Nun Xian, and they were from the same sect. It had to be fate. It was unknown when it started snowing outside, and the weather was gradually getting colder. Come in with me, you two. The man looked at the sky. After he finished speaking, he turned around and entered the shabby thatched hut. Hung helped Su Yu up and whispered into his ear, Brother Su Yu, Master Wu wants to help you. Although his words aren't nice, he's a good person. Su Yu nodded and didn't say anything. He bent down and followed Hing inside. Although the straw hut was shabby, the stove inside was very warm. After the man entered, he flipped over and sat cross-legged on the stove. He took out a cigarette from the iron box beside him and started smoking. The smell was choking. Master Wu, come, take mine. Su Yu was a man of honor, so he took out a soft pack of Chunghua from his pocket and handed it over. Master Wu glanced at Su Yu, took the cigarette and put it out. Can you go out first? Wait for him in the car. This person had miraculously sent Heng away. Su Yu also felt that he really didn't want others to know about this kind of thing. If one didn't know, they would think that he was crazy. Okay, Brother Su Yu, I'll wait for you in the car, all right. After Hing left, Su Yu said impatiently, Master Wu, Without waiting for Su Yu to finish, the man fiercely slapped Zhonghua. She glared at Su Yu and asked, Tell me, how did you come back? Su Yu was stunned. Don't play dumb, you can't hide it from me. You're the only one who came back. Tell me, how did you come back? Su Yu thought about it carefully and felt that he should be talking about his sudden transmigration. Therefore, he recounted the whole story to her. At the end, he didn't forget to add, Master Wu, I've already transmigrated twice. I think it has something to do with this amulet and the Buddhist scriptures. Every time I wear the amulet and chant the Great Compassion mantra, I'll transmigrate. But for some reason, I've only transmigrated twice. Now, no matter how I chant it, I won't move. I want to know what's going on. Do you think you transmigrated? The man asked Su Yu. But I think time has reversed. I've returned to the past. What a stupid donkey, the man said. Su Yu's face darkened. You didn't transmigrate at all. Don't think about it yourself. If it's not transmigration, then what's going on? You've been set up by someone, or rather, you've all been set up by someone, the man repeated. Set up? Suyu was even more confused. Chapter 44:22. When he heard that it wasn't transmigration, Suyu was confused again. Because in his mind he had transmigrated, and he clearly remembered that he had transmigrated twice. Every time, it was an amulet and a Buddhist scripture. Then, the scene before his eyes began to collapse. However, now that Master Wu said that it wasn't transmigration, it completely overturned his previous wild guess. Suyu was a little anxious. He moved closer to Master Wu and explained anxiously, Master Wu, can I see the future? Why do I feel like I'm seeing what's going to happen in the future? My friends are all captured and I have to save them. Aren't your friends sleeping at home? Master Wu exhaled another puff of smoke. Suyu was confused again. That's right. When he woke up, he found An, Xin Chu, and Huamin sleeping on their beds. But, no, Master Wu, they're not sleeping. They must have been hit by some evil trick. Because when they were asleep, I couldn't wake them up. And as long as they moved their bodies, they would appear to be on the verge of death. What's going on? Suyu knew that he was speaking incoherently, but he believed that Master Wu could understand him. Sure enough, after hearing Suyu's words, Master Wu fell silent. Instead, he lowered his head and finished the cigarette in his hand in a few puffs. He then threw the cigarette butt to the ground. Then he looked up at Suyu. Master Wu, do you need my birth characters to deduce? Suyu thought that these fortune-tellers would basically ask you for your birth characters and birthplace before starting to read your fortune. Master Wu only smiled mysteriously. No need, I don't need those things. Let me put it this way, Suyu, you and your friends have been tricked a long time ago. What did you get hit by? Suyu froze. Do you know about nightmares? Yes, it's a type of nightmare. Then, you encounter something scary in your dream, but you can't wake up. Suyu briefly explained the meaning of incubus. Master Wu nodded. Something like that? But what does this have to do with the incubus? Suyu still couldn't make sense of it, so he asked anxiously. I'll explain it to you briefly. Someone made up a big dream. To combine the dream and reality. In the end, he lured all of you into the dream. Your friends are all in that dream now, but you accidentally escaped. After Suyu heard this, his entire body was petrified. This was the most ridiculous thing he had ever heard of. Master Wu told him that everything he had experienced before was a dream. Even 10,000 alpacas would not be able to express this feeling. No, how could it be a dream? It's too real. Everything inside, the explosion, the dead, everything is still vivid in my mind. I still can't forget it. Suyu didn't want to admit Master Wu's words. He didn't believe that it was just a dream. Whether it was Layla, the dead Huaxiqian Qin Chu, who had mysteriously told him where to save Huamin, or the pregnant Huamin, how could all of this be just a dream? Didn't you hear what I just said? I mean, someone is deliberately luring you into the dream. It's a gradual process. It's a continuous combination of dream and reality. In the end, reality is abandoned and all of you are lured into the dream. Then, how did I escape? Suyu was dumbfounded. Master Wu rolled his eyes at Suyu. What do you think? You stupid donkey brain, think carefully. What did you encounter that made you start your so-called transmigration? At the mention of this, Suyu's eyes lit up. Then he subconsciously touched his amulet. It's an amulet, and I chanted the Great Compassion Mantra. Chapter 44:23. Master Wu glanced at Suyu and said calmly, That's right, it's the amulet and the Great Compassion Mantra. You look as stupid as a donkey, but I didn't expect you to know how to chant the Great Compassion Mantra. I have to say that you're quite powerful. Perhaps the person who set the trap didn't expect anyone to escape. Master Wu, I still don't understand. You mean I used the amulet and the Great Compassion Mantra to escape from the dream, right? Suyu asked. Master Wu nodded. But why did I escape twice? The first time, I escaped from an underwater palace, but I returned to the time when I was kidnapped in Yunnan. Then I suddenly returned to my home from Yunnan. How do you explain all of this? That's because you're already in the second level of the dream. No matter how powerful the amulet and Buddhist scriptures are, they can't send you back to reality in one go. If I'm not wrong, the underwater palace you mentioned just now should be a dream within a dream. The second level of the dream, and then you returned to the first level of the dream. I don't know what happened, but you accidentally escaped from the first level of the dream and came to the real world. Are you still not satisfied after coming back? You even used your amulet and Buddhist scriptures to try, but it was useless. Master Wu smiled mysteriously. Su Yu immediately nodded excitedly. Yes, I thought I could still transmigrate. Silly. This is the real world. You're already back, so how can you transmigrate? No, Master Wu, if it's really a dream like you said, then when I woke up, I realized that the amulet wasn't on me. I went back to the old residence and asked my mother for it. I don't know why, but it suddenly went to my mother. Su Yu lowered his head and touched the amulet on his body. He couldn't explain why the amulet wasn't on him when he woke up. Then think carefully. When did your mother give you the amulet? I was about to go to the North Pole to save my friend. Before I left, I missed my mother and went to see her. She gave it to me. Have you ever thought about it? It was actually a dream. Your mother didn't give you any amulet at all. It was your own consciousness that forced it into your dream. Su Yu couldn't say anything. After all, there was too much information for him to digest. Calm down first, I'll drink some water. Master Wu coughed twice and got off the ground to get a bowl of water from the stove. Then he took 2 big gulps. When he returned, Su Yu seemed to still be in a state of confusion. Have you thought it through? Alright, Master Wu, even if I escaped because of the amulet and the Great Compassion Mantra, what about my friends? Why aren't they awake yet? When will they wake up? Su Yu didn't want to care about the dream right now. He just wanted to ensure that Huamin and Qin Chu would wake up safely. Are you stupid? You were lucky enough to escape and you still expect your friends to come out? You probably don't know how powerful the person who set this trap is. You young people nowadays are really young, like children. You don't know anything. Master Wu seemed to think that Su Yu's words were childish and ignorant. Master Wu, I think this is a little too ridiculous. Incubi are usually alone in their dreams. How can we have a dream with so many friends and such a large group of people? Without waiting for Su Yu to finish, Master Wu took out another cigarette and lit it himself. He sneered. That's why I said you're too young. Kid, have you heard of hypnotists? Chapter 44-24. Su Yu was stunned again. Hypnotist? Are you talking about the kind of hypnotist who waves a pocket watch in front of you a few times and makes you fall asleep? Master Wu shook his head. It's not that simple. Young people like you only know how to smoke, drink, and spend money to pick up girls. Why don't you look at the useful and valuable information? 2 years ago, I saw on the internet that there was a high-level hypnotist in a research center overseas who used his own hypnotism to make people see their previous lives. It said that there's a person in America who even recalled his previous 9 lives. Fuck. That's so weird. Su Yu was dumbfounded. This isn't science fiction or superstition. It's really high-tech. The hypnotists you know are just scratching the surface. Those who hypnotize patients with psychological disorders can only be called psychologists, not professional hypnotists. Master Wu, you know how to surf the internet. Su Yu was embarrassed. He looked at the man in shabby clothes in front of him. His hair was like a chicken's nest, and he looked like a country bumpkin. Therefore, when Master Wu said these words about surfing the internet and high-tech, Su Yu was really shocked. Of course, us Daoists are also keeping up with the times. If we don't surf the internet, we'll definitely be eliminated. Occasionally, when I don't have enough to eat and am poor, I'll read people's fortunes in my own online shop and make a living. Su Yu was speechless. You still have the time to talk nonsense with me? Do you want to know who set you up? Master Wu glared at Su Yu. Yes, Master Wu. Please guide me. Su Yu had a vague feeling that this guy was not an ordinary person, so his attitude became even more respectful. To put it simply, you guys met a high-level, or even a super hypnotist, who gave you guys a primer so that you guys gradually entered a dream and started hallucinating. Wait, Master Wu, what do you mean by a primer? What do you mean by hallucinating? Su Yu wanted to figure out every detail. If Master Wu was a liar, he wouldn't be able to handle these sharp questions. The primer is a person who appears beside you. She has met with your friends in the dream. She will take the opportunity to put the primer on you bit by bit. To put it bluntly, it is a kind of hallucinogen that can make you enter the dream, and you won't be able to discover it. As for the hallucinations, you need to think carefully. When did something outrageous happen to you? From the moment the outrageous thing happened, you are basically already in a half-awake state. That's ridiculous. Let me think. I was kidnapped by Xianxia? Oh, I remember now. It's my good friend. She has a father who died many years ago. He actually came back. After a checkup at the hospital, they found out that their genes are the same. It's too fucking ridiculous. Later, they said that it's a clone. Even more ridiculous. Master Wu's words made Su Yu try his best to recall everything that had happened recently. Suddenly, it occurred to them that Jing De's appearance was the most ridiculous beginning, but everyone gradually believed it. Master Wu nodded. It's indeed ridiculous for a dead person to come back to life, but you guys believed it. Yeah, we all thought it was really a clone. After all, there's such technology now, Su Yu said. It makes you gradually believe in ridiculous things, which is the power of the incubus. Because what happened next was more and more ridiculous, but you all accepted it completely. Master Wu's words made Su Yu's hair stand on end again. Yeah, clones, blood-sucking Layla. These ridiculous things, he, Qin Chu, and Mian, actually believed them. This was too fucking strange. Why did he feel like he had just woken up from a dream? Chapter 44-25. Master Wu, now that you mention it, I understand a little. But you just said that we need a catalyst to enter the dream. We need someone to secretly drug us, right? Su Yu grasped the key point. Yes, that's right. Without this step, we can't complete the rest of the series. But I don't have such a friend around me who would have the chance to drug us. My friends and I are all in the same circle. We don't trust others easily. It's impossible for someone to drug us without us noticing. Su Yu wondered who could drug him and everyone else without anyone noticing. Master Wu took another puff of his cigarette. Then you'd better think carefully. Did you have any new friends in your life? Then, this person has a good relationship with everyone, and can make you trust her, but later on she left without anyone knowing. You should know that this kind of person who lures you into a dream will disappear after she completes her task. She won't overlap in the dream. I'm afraid that you'll be alerted and see through her. After Master Wu finished speaking, Su Yu started to search his memories. A friend who had appeared recently, someone who everyone recognized, someone who was quite popular, could it be Anyao? At the thought of this name, Su Yu felt goosebumps all over his body. It couldn't be. Big Yao Yao was such a nice person. How could it be? Then he thought about it. No, Master Wu said that she had appeared and left. Big Yao Yao had never left. Whether it was in the dream or in reality, she seemed to always be there. At this moment, another name flashed across his mind, exploding in his mind like a sudden clap of thunder. Zheng Ro. Yes, that's right, it was Zheng Ro. She had appeared for a period of time and made everyone like her. Then, she disappeared for no reason. When he was in Yunnan, he vaguely heard Huasiqian mention that Zheng Ro was kidnapped by Layla and the others and killed. Therefore, Su Yu subconsciously thought that Zheng Ro was dead. However, if what Master Wu said made sense and what happened in Yunnan was a dream, then what Huasiqian told him in the dream that Zheng Ro was dead shouldn't be true. Have you thought of someone? Yes, I thought of someone. If there's anything else you don't understand, you can continue asking. Master Wu smoked slowly. Master Wu, I'd like to ask if I saw someone I knew die in the dream, did he really die, or did he return to reality like me after dying in the dream? Su Yu wanted to confirm Huasiqian's final destination. Huasiqian died in the explosion in Yunnan. But now, if everything was a dream, then was Huasiqian still alive? It didn't matter if Xichen was alive, but if he was alive as Jack, that would be terrifying. Let me put it this way. Let me tell you first, there are 3 types of people who will appear in your dreams. The first type is you and your friends, real people who were lured into the dream. The second type is created by the dream creator, illusory and fake, but you think they are real. The third type is the dream creator himself, but dream creators are very powerful. They control the entire dream and won't let you notice anything. In the dream, their identities are also hidden, so you can't tell at a glance. If you just said that the person you know died in the dream, if he was created by the dream creator, then he will be fine. If he was lured into the dream like you guys, then he will be completely dead. Because if he died in a dream designed by someone, then he will really be dead. Su Yu's eyes widened. Then my friends are still in the dream. Are you saying that once the dream creator attacks them, they will never wake up? Chapter 44:26. Yes, she'll never wake up. She's completely dead. Master Wu nodded. Su Yu's heart sank once again. Master Wu, how can I tell if what I'm experiencing is reality or a dream? Didn't I tell you before? Ever since the hypnotist drugged you, you've already been in a dream. Actually, if you think about it carefully, there must be a lot of things that are different from your reality. It's just that you were in a dream at that time and didn't know that you were dreaming. Master Wu's words reminded Su Yu of something. Eating roast duck with Huamin in the underwater palace. Su Yu thought it was ridiculous when he saw the underwater palace. What kind of family background was this? A palace piled up with white crystals? However, at that time, his subjective consciousness had already believed everything in front of him. He didn't think he was dreaming, so he believed it in a daze. Now that he thought about it, there were 2 strange things. First, Mion's due date had passed a long time ago, but she still refused to give birth. Normally, it wouldn't be too late for her to give birth in a few days. However, Mion felt like it had been almost a month, and she still hadn't given birth. Everyone laughed at her and said that she was pregnant with Neza. Now that he thought about it, it was all a dream. Time itself was a lie. When Su Yu went to South Hill Manor this morning, he saw Huamin lying on the bed. His stomach was bulging, and he hadn't given birth yet. However, he had returned to the past, to reality. It wasn't time for the due date yet. The second strange thing was when Su Yu was eating roast duck. Huamin had kindly prepared a sumptuous meal for Su Yu. Su Yu only ate because he was really hungry. Although Su Yu was usually careless and could eat anything, he was different. However, he was actually a veteran foodie. Over the years, he had eaten special delicacies from all over the country. There were many things that he could tell if they were authentic or not just by smelling them. The roast duck in the capital city was famous. Every time Su Yu went to the capital city with his grandfather, he would have a meal there. Therefore, he had done quite a bit of research on roast duck over the years. In his dream, the roast duck only looked good, but when he ate it, it didn't taste that way. At that time, Su Yu felt that something was wrong. Logically speaking, even if it didn't taste good, it should at least have a taste. However, when he was eating with Huamin, Su Yu felt that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't taste it. It was like how you usually eat buns in one bite. Regardless of whether it was delicious or not, he would be able to taste it. But the roast duck had no taste. Su Yu found it weird, but he couldn't put his finger on it. There were several times when he wanted to say, he felt that they were in a dream. But at that time, he didn't. From the looks of it, Linya had 2 identities. Perhaps she was someone created by the dream creator, or perhaps she was the dream creator himself. She must not be someone who had been lured into a dream, because in the real world, Linya was dead. She was a living dead, and her body was still frozen in Iceland. These were all things that Su Yu learned from his secret conversations with Qin Chu in his dream. Qin Chu and Huamin were both highly intelligent people, but once they entered a dream, they couldn't get rid of it. It was as if they were scared half to death every night when they slept and had nightmares. Because no one would be so awesome to know that they were dreaming. This was a terrifying thing in itself. Su Yu thought about it for a long time and finally figured out what was wrong. Then, he grabbed Master Wu's sleeve excitedly. "What are you doing?" Stupid donkey, let go of me. Master Wu might not be used to being pulled by a man like this. Chapter 44:27. Master Wu, please help me. Help with what? Didn't you come out? Master Wu quickly finished another cigarette. The small room was already filled with the smell of tobacco. Su Yu could not open his eyes. I did come out, but my friends are still in the dream. I can't ignore them. When Su Yu heard that if a person who entered a dream died in the dream, they would die for real, he was shocked. His mood was already in a mess. That also proved that Huan Min, Qin Chu, and even Tang Chuan Old Wei and their friends were all in danger. And their lives were in danger at all times. I can't save your friends. I can only solve your mystery, but I can't save you guys because I can't enter the dream. I've never come into contact with the hypnotist who lured you guys into the dream. Also, even if I can enter the dream, I won't. Such a big dream. There have to be at least 4 dream creators in it. Also, they're all very well hidden. You don't even know who they are. If you're accidentally killed by a dream creator, it'll be over. Faced with Su Yu's request, Master Wu shook his head frequently. 4 dream creators? So many. Su Yu was numb when he heard that there were 4 dream creators. What do you think? Such a big dream, it's impossible for it to be supported by 1 dream creator. These dream creators are like fish in water. That's their territory, and playing you to death is as easy as playing with an ant. You're really lucky to be able to come out alive. Also, in today's world, there are very few dream creators and hypnotists, and there are very few who can support so many artificial dreams. The person who designed you guys is controlling everything behind the scenes and can make 4 dream creators set you guys up at once. When 4 dream creators appear together, we call it the 4 directions formation in Taoism. It's a kind of evil dream technique. Those who aren't superstitious can also call it deep hypnosis. Anyway, they must have a motive. I'm guessing that you guys have something they want. Your friends might be wiser and hand it over. Maybe they can take pity on them and let them come back alive. Master Wu's words were becoming more and more convincing. Su Yu also thought that the person who did this to them must have a purpose. To be able to set up such a huge trap, he was already an expert. The thing that she wanted must have something to do with Huan Min. Because Huan Min had been imprisoned for the longest time, what on earth does Mian have that those people want? Su Yu lowered his head, confused. Qin Chu knew very little about the red demons, let alone Su Yu. Therefore, Su Yu did not know the motive of the person who set this trap. But it was true that his friends were in mortal danger. By the way, Master Wu, there's something I don't understand. Speak. Master Wu seemed to have lost his patience. After explaining so much for Su Yu, this kid still seemed to be stupid. My friend has 2 children, but they didn't enter the dream and are still alive. Does this mean that dream creators don't work on children? Su Yu remembered that the twins were still intact, so he wondered if they were immune to children. Master Wu looked at Su Yu with disdain. Dream on. Those dream creators can even drag dogs into their dreams. Do you think they will let children go? Is your head filled with dog shit? Master Wu really felt that this kid in front of him was stupid. That's not right. Then why are my friend's children fine and not asleep? Su Yu still felt that the matter with Little Bean and Pudding was a little strange. Chapter 44:28. Master Wu glanced at Su Yu and said faintly, "It's very simple. They have something to ward off evil spirits. From the moment they entered the dream, they didn't enter, and what you saw was always them in the dream. They belong to the second type of people I mentioned before, created by the dream creators." Su Yu was enlightened. It seemed like after returning from Yunnan, when Pudding and Little Bean appeared, it was all an illusion created by the dream creators. The real twins had never entered the dream. Something to ward off evil spirits? Su Yu tried his best to recall. Suddenly, he remembered that the twins always had a pair of white jade gourds around their necks. Lu Yen had given them to them when they were born. It was said that they were priceless. Jade itself had the effect of warding off evil spirits. Perhaps Lu Yen had blessed them or something? In that case, it made sense. Master Wu, why would a dream creator's dream be afraid of amulets and white jade? Su Yu turned into a curious baby and asked the questions in his heart. Master Wu replied slowly, "How should I put it to you? Let me give you an example. Although dream creators and hypnotists are the top technologies in the current development of technology, they are not superstitious. That is the opinion of ordinary people. In the eyes of Daoists, after creating a dream, letting others enter a dream, and achieving a certain goal, we can call it evil. It's just like when you watch ancient dramas, there are people who practice martial arts. Although their martial arts are strong, they are evil. Good and evil cannot coexist. Evil things must have something to subdue them. Therefore, at this time, whether it's amulets, charms, the Great Compassion Mantra, or white jade, they have become a way to avoid evil things. If you put it that way, I kind of understand. Su Yu nodded thoughtfully. But you have a point. You subconsciously forced the amulet on yourself in your dream. You don't have a real amulet. Master Wu said, "Yes, I asked my mom for the amulet after I came back." Su Yu touched the amulet with mixed feelings. So, what really saved you wasn't the amulet. After all, it didn't really exist in the dream. That should be a few lines of scripture that I learned by accident. As my mother is a Buddhist, I often hear her recite the Great Compassion Mantra. Over time, I was also a little affected. Su Yu followed Master Wu's train of thought and revealed the secret for himself. Suddenly, he felt that the mystery was getting smaller and smaller, and it was about to dissipate. Master Wu nodded. "There's nothing wrong with what you said. The Great Compassion Mantra is indeed one of the most important points, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is, you already felt that something was wrong in the dream. Although you didn't figure it out directly, your logic has already started to guide you. It's like a person dreaming and knowing that they're dreaming. Therefore, what really saved you wasn't your amulet or your Great Compassion Mantra, but your self-consciousness. If an ordinary person were to hear this, they would definitely be confused. But Su Yu actually understood it instantly. Indeed, in the dream, there were many times when he felt that something was wrong. He felt that something was wrong with Huamin after returning from Yunnan. He felt that something was wrong with Qinchu's condition. He felt that there was something wrong with eating with Huamin in the underwater palace. Therefore, Su Yu was the only one who did not completely believe in the dream. That was why he was sent out with the help of the amulet and the Great Compassion Mantra. It could be considered a narrow escape. But Master Wu, there's still something I don't understand. Speak. The time isn't right. I asked my friend's housekeeper. My friend and his wife came back to sleep last night. Logically speaking, it's only been one night. But in the dream, more than a month has passed. The time is messed up. What's going on? Do we return to reality every day and dream at night? The more Su Yu thought about it, the more confused he became. Chapter 44-29. Master Wu shook his head, got up, and got off the brick bed. He looked through the window of the beer house and at the barren hills behind the house. Time is a lie in dreams. After I tell you, you'll be very surprised. Master Wu didn't finish his sentence at once. Instead, he gave Su Yu some time to digest it. Perhaps he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to digest it. Su Yu patted his chest. Master Wu, tell me. I can take it. After you entered the dream, you only had a long dream. The time in the dream is fake. So the clock, time, and calendar you saw were all dreams. The dream creator confused you, so you felt like a long time had passed. But in reality, it was only one night. I don't quite understand. Su Yu was confused. Let me put it this way. When the hypnotist appeared, it was in the real world. You were drugged by the hypnotist, and then you started to hallucinate and finally entered the dream. In other words, no matter how many dream creators there are, no matter how big the dream is, their time is limited. They only have one night. So you people did it on the night they chose? That is, after everyone fell asleep at night, all of you entered the dream. In the real world, it was only one night, but in the dream, you felt like a long time had passed, more than a month, or even a year, or a lifetime. Hearing this, Su Yu was completely dumbfounded. Master Wu meant that they had only slept for one night. That was why Uncle Li said that Qin Chu and Huamin were fine when they returned at night. However, after they fell asleep, there was no movement. Up until now, everything that had happened, no matter how long it had been in the dream, was just one night in reality. That's not right, Master Wu. I'm awake now. It's dawn, but they're all asleep. That's why I said you were lucky. Logically speaking, you shouldn't have woken up. After the dream creator achieved his goal, none of you should have been able to come back alive. I don't think the dream creator would be so kind. Also, you're back, so your time is normal, but the others are still in the dream. Of course, they won't be able to wake up. Also, as I said before, once the dream creator makes a move, none of your friends will be able to come back. So, you can treat your sleeping friends as vegetative people now. Fuck? How can I do that? I have so many friends, and all of them are vegetative people. I'm the only one who's still alive. I can't do that. Su Yu almost cursed it out loud. Qin Chu, Mian, and Tang Chuan, Qi Ning, Wei Liao, Jiang Xiaowei, Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling. There were so many people, but he was the only one who came back. If he lost such a large group of friends, then what was the point of him living in this world? Master, what do you want now? I know you're very powerful. Can you help me save my friends? I'm willing to do anything. Su Yu could only place all his hopes on Master Wu. After all, this person's decryption was very reliable. I told you I can't do anything about this, and I don't have the ability to do anything about it. Do you know how powerful dream creators are in dreams? They can change the scene at will and attack you at will. I can't even deal with one dream creator, and you want me to deal with 4 of them? A player like me might be tortured to death as soon as I enter the dream. Spare me, I haven't lived enough. Master Wu's attitude was very clear. He couldn't do anything about it, he couldn't save him, and his ability was limited. Su Yu's eyes turned red. A heart-wrenching despair slowly rose from the bottom of his heart. Chapter 44:30. Kid, stupid donkey, I'm telling you, it's useless even if you cry. I really don't know what to do. I've already said enough. Creating dreams is really rare in our country. The person you've offended must be someone with a strong background. You can't beat him, Master Wu. Now that things have come to this, I can't save my friend, so I don't plan to go back. Su Yu said with red eyes. What are you trying to do? Master Wu felt that there was a ball of fire in this kid's eyes that was about to burn. Master Wu thought that this kid had a bad temper and would probably kneel in front of the door and refuse to leave. After all, this was how many melodramatic television dramas played out. Unexpectedly, Su Yu said, I'm sticking to you and not leaving. I'll go wherever you go. I'll eat whatever you eat. If you sleep, I'll sleep. Master Wu was speechless. What are you talking about? We're 2 men eating and sleeping together in the same room. What does that look like? That's right. If you don't help me, I'll completely ruin your reputation. Think about it, what will the villagers think of you then? Su Yu smiled evilly. Master Wu was speechless. Little brat, are you repaying kindness with evil? Sort of. Do you believe that I can use a spell to summon a female ghost to scare you to death? Master Wu threatened. Su Yu lay on the bed and crossed his long legs. Up to you, but if you're looking for a female ghost, remember to find one with good looks. I like pretty girls. Master Wu was speechless. Master Wu didn't expect this kid called Su Yu to be so shameless. However, he also knew that this kid was definitely loyal. If it were anyone else, they would be extremely lucky to know that they were out. They wouldn't care about the life and death of others. Therefore, Master Wu could basically see through Su Yu's personality and character. Alright, stop fooling around. Don't talk nonsense with me here. I've revealed enough to you today. Since you've solved the mystery in your heart, you should go back. You're the only child of the family after all. You're the only one in this generation of the Su family, right? Master Wu already knew Su Yu's identity. However, even though he was a rich man with a military background, he still didn't receive any special treatment here. Master Wu had a strange personality and never spoiled the rich and powerful. Master Wu, to be honest, when I first came here, I was worried that you were a liar. Now that you've helped me solve so many mysteries, your position in my heart has really soared to the highest level. Be a good person to the end and help Buddha to the end. In the vast sea of people, it's also fate that I can ask you for help. Besides, you also said that Nun Xian has a good relationship with my mother. Just based on this alone, you can't ignore my matters. Su Yu stood up and stopped joking as he spoke to Master Wu seriously. Master Wu also became serious. He reached out his hand and tapped Su Yu's head. You're doing well. It's because I'm fated with you. I quite like your personality, and I also know about the relationship between my senior sister and your mother. That's why I can't let you continue fooling around. I'm not fooling around. I just want to save my friends. It's that simple. Really, if I can save my friends, I won't pursue the person who instigated the dream. I just want my friends to come back safely. Su Yu meant what he said. As long as everyone could come back, he wouldn't be able to cause another bloody storm. At this point, safety was a blessing. Chapter 44-31. Master Wu glanced at Su Yu and said with a heavy heart, "Then listen carefully. Your friends are still in the dream. If you want to save them, you have to crack this dream. However, to crack such a big dream, you have to kill the dream creator first." "Then kill them. They're bad guys anyway," Su Yu replied. "If you want to kill them, you have to enter the dream first. Outsiders can't enter the dream easily. Even if it's me, if I want to forcefully enter the dream, it'll take me 3 to 5 months. By then, your friends will probably be dead." "Can't, but I can. Didn't I get dragged in before? I just need to go back a second time. Can you teach me how to kill the dream creator?" Su Yu's confidence was ignited. He felt that there would definitely be a way. Actually, Su Yu was never stupid and was very smart. It was just that Qin Chu and Huamian's geniuses were too dazzling, so no one noticed Su Yu's brilliance. Previously, Qin Chu could see through Layla's flaws, but Su Yu could not. This was not a matter of IQ, this was a matter of understanding. Qin Chu had known Huamin for too many years. They were childhood sweethearts. He knew Huamin as well as he knew himself. Later on, the two of them got married and shared a bed every day. Therefore, Qin Chu remembered Huamin's scent very clearly. However, Su Yu was different. He had never been intimate with Huamin. He only understood one aspect of his personality and did not understand everything. From the looks of it, Su Yu wasn't just lucky to be able to come out. Master Wu had also said that Su Yu was aware that he was dreaming. That was why the dream was so weak in front of him. In the end, it collapsed easily and he escaped. Master Wu did not say who was suitable to enter the dream, but Su Yu guessed that since outsiders could not enter the dream, in that case, it should be very easy for him, who was familiar with going in. After Su Yu finished speaking, Master Wu was a little annoyed by this idea. He picked up a Chunghua and lit it again. However, he didn't say anything for a long time. "Master Wu, please say something. I'm so anxious." "Su Yu, it wasn't easy for you to escape from death. You should be thanking the gods. You actually want to enter the dream a second time? I think you're crazy." Master Wu scolded Su Yu for being crazy. "I'm not crazy. I just want to save my friends." "But there's a price to pay for saving people," Master Wu said solemnly. "There's nothing wrong with that. I'm willing to pay any price." Su Yu didn't even think about it as he happily said that he would accept any conditions. Master Wu fell silent again. Su Yu was very smart. Seeing Master Wu's expression, he knew that there might be something difficult to say. "Master Wu, don't hide it from me. Tell me what you have to say." "I have a big heart and I can take it." Master Wu took a deep puff of his cigarette and blew out a big smoke ring. White rings of smoke rose into the air in the room and gradually disappeared. At this moment, Su Yu heard Master Wu say, "Stupid donkey, listen carefully. People who enter the dream a second time can't come back." "What do you mean?" Perhaps Master Wu's words were too one-sided. He didn't explain much, so Su Yu didn't quite understand what he meant. "It means that after you enter the dream a second time, There's only one outcome. Firstly, you fail and are tortured to death by the dream creator. You die in the dream. In reality, you die too. Secondly, you succeed. You kill the dream creator and save everyone, but you still won't be able to come back from the dream. Although you're not dead, it's no different from being dead. In other words, I will forever stay in the dream. Suyu understood now. Chapter 44-32. Master Wu nodded. 5 seconds later, Suyu smiled brightly. Sai, I thought it was a big deal. This is nothing. As long as I save everyone, even if I stay in the dream, it's not bad. At least I can stay young forever in the dream, huh? Suyu avoided such a heavy moment with a hearty smile. Master Wu looked at Suyu with a complicated expression. He seemed to be starting to feel sorry for this little donkey. Although they had never met before, he liked this kid for some reason. Suyu, you only have one life. It's not child's play, Master Wu reminded him kindly. Of course I know it's not child's play. Then don't learn from those anti-Japanese dramas. Sacrificing me will bring happiness to millions of people. Let me tell you, although this society is a little cold, it's definitely realistic. Everyone sweeps the snow in front of their own door and doesn't care about others. Even if you don't save your friends, no one will blame you. Morality will kidnap you because you really don't have the ability to save them. Master Wu, I understand what you mean. Actually, I'm not that great. Other than being reluctant to part with my good friends, I have a very simple goal. Master Wu looked at Suyu in confusion. Suyu lowered his head and smiled shyly. There's a girl I've liked for several years. She's also in the dream. My biggest wish in life is for her to be happy and safe, so I must save her. Master Wu had seen countless people over the years, so he was almost certain that Suyu's expression was real. There was no trace of pretense at all. In the end, he seemed to understand why Suyu was so stubborn and insisted on saving people. Ask the world what is love. At this moment, Master Wu thought of something Li Macho often said in The Return of the Condor Heroes. Without waiting for Master Wu to speak, Suyu added with a cheeky smile, everything has its vanquisher. Master Wu was speechless. Master Wu, since we're so fated, why don't I acknowledge you as my master? Don't try to curry favor with me. Master Wu rolled his eyes at Suyu. Everyone knew that this kid's motive for suddenly acknowledging a master was obvious. I'm not trying to get close to you. I really admire your ability. Before I came, I thought you were just a scammer. Now that I look at you, you are indeed a little better than a scammer. What a joke. Is that just a little bit awesome? When I was running around, those scammers were still wearing diapers. Master Wu tilted his head and said narcissistically. Of course I believe you. But what I'm especially curious about is that you're a Daoist, and Nun Ci, and is a Buddhist. The two of you are actually from the same sect? It's a little messy. I'm not well educated, don't lie to me. Suyu had always been puzzled. An old Daoist priest and a nun. They didn't match? Master Wu's face darkened. He pointed at Suyu and scolded, You stupid donkey, you really don't read much? Haven't you heard of Buddhism and Taoism? Oh. Suyu pretended to be enlightened, but he obviously couldn't be convinced by Master Wu's words. Seeing that Suyu didn't believe him, Master Wu waved his hand and said impatiently, All right. To tell you the truth, I was originally a monk and cultivated in a temple with my senior sister. I couldn't take it anymore and kept eating vegetables. I was dying of cravings, so I returned to the secular world. Master Wu, so you're also a carnivore? Fellow cultivator, come, let's shake hands. Suyu laughed until he was convulsing. Chapter 44-33. Suyu felt that Master Wu was especially cute at this moment. It wasn't a sin to love meat, get lost. Don't talk nonsense with me. Master, please accept Suyu's bow. Without any warning, Suyu knelt down on both knees and bowed to Master Wu. This made Master Wu have mixed feelings. He had never taken in any disciple in his life. His parents had passed away early, and he had no wife or children. Therefore, he was not mentally prepared for Su Yu's bow, and he couldn't describe how he felt. Get up, little brat. I'm not your master. I can't teach you anything. I don't need you to teach me anything. To be honest, I just like your free and easy look. Melancholy and deep eyes, a body covered in dust, and that hairstyle that even birds wouldn't dare to land on your head to poop. Su Yu looked up and smiled cheekily again. Master Wu was speechless. You stupid donkey, right now. Get out of here. Master Wu was played by this kid again. However, Su Yu had never seen such a slovenly person like Master Wu. He felt like he was a homeless man. His beard was unkempt, and his hair was messy. It was a horrible sight. Master, come back to Sea City with me. I'll buy you a big house, a car, and a bunch of wives for you. I'll take you to eat delicacies. When you die of old age, I'll choose a place with good feng shui on the North Mountain for you, with the mountain facing the sea. How about that? Su Yu didn't know that he was so good at flirting. Could it be that Mian was no longer around, so he could release all his power? In the past, no matter what he said, he was rendered speechless by Huamin. Master Wu didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at Su Yu. Thank you. I still want to live for a few more years, so don't choose a grave for me. But you can take me to eat delicacies. In my city, there's a roast duck restaurant that's especially authentic. Do you want to try it with me? Su Yu began to throw out the temptation of delicious food. As expected, Master Wu's stance was not firm. Roast duck, is it delicious? He asked. Yeah, it's delicious. You'll want to eat it again. Su Yu tried his best to describe the aroma of the roast duck. Master Wu held his chin reservedly and was conflicted. Taking advantage of Master Wu's hesitation, Su Yu grabbed his arm and pulled him out. Hey, what are you doing? I haven't even said I'm going yet. Why are you forcing me to do something against my will? Although Master Wu kept struggling, his actions betrayed him. Therefore, when Heng saw Su Yu get into the car with Master Wu, he was a little shocked. Brother Su Yu, I want to bring my master back to Sea City. Su Yu said proudly. But this sports car won't fit. Heng looked troubled. You can choose to sit on Master Wu's lap or let Master Wu sit on your lap. Hearing his words, Heng almost knelt down in front of him. In the end, Heng said, Brother Su Yu, you guys go first. I'll call my friends nearby to pick me up. He definitely wouldn't dare to sit on Master Wu's lap. If he let Master Wu sit on his lap, Xiao Heng was afraid that his legs would be crippled by his 150-kilogram body. He waited until Su Yu left in his sports car. Only then did Heng realize that Su Yu had said something very important. He said, My master, could it be that? Brother Su Yu had acknowledged Master Wu as his master? Heng was a little shocked. Didn't they say that there were countless people who wanted to acknowledge Master Wu as their master all these years, but he didn't accept any of them? Chapter 44-34. Master Wu had never been in a sports car before, so when he got on the highway, he felt like he was about to fly. It was especially exciting. Sitting in the front passenger seat, he actually started to play a Beijing opera tune in a low voice to express his mood of flying at this moment. Since Su Yu was able to pull the expert back, he felt more confident. When they arrived in Sea City, Su Yu pulled Master Wu to the restaurant where Su Yu used to eat roast duck. After ordering, Master Wu reached out to pull off the roast duck's leg, but Su Yu stopped him. Before we eat, I have a question. Master Wu drooled as he looked at the roast duck. How much longer can my friends hold on? How much time do we have left for me to save them? What time is it now? Master Wu asked Su Yu. Su Yu looked down at his watch. It's 1 in the afternoon. Yes, before the sun sets, they will fall into a deep sleep forever or die in their dreams, Master Wu said calmly. However, Su Yu jumped up when he heard this. It meant that his friends and Huamian had less than 5 hours left. In the northern winter, the sun usually set at 5 o'clock. Master, let's not eat for now, okay? What's the rush? Let me finish. When my friends come back, I'll treat you to this every day and every year. Su Yu felt that time was too rushed, so he didn't have the mood to eat roast duck with Master Wu. Therefore, regardless of whether Master Wu was willing or not, he dragged him out. Master Wu was not to be outdone. Before he left, he hurriedly tore off a roast duck leg. Then, Su Yu drove Master Wu to his private mansion. He dragged him all the way into Anne's room. "Master, look at my friend. This kid has been with me for a few years. He's my chauffeur, bodyguard, and assistant. We have a deep relationship, like brothers." Pointing at An, who was still sleeping on the bed, Su Yu didn't feel good about it. Master Wu looked at An as he chewed on the roast duck. He nodded. "Yes, that's right. This is the state of entering a dream." He entered a dream in real life, so what you saw in the dream is the real him and not a dream creator's creation. "Master, how do I enter the dream a second time?" Su Yu mentioned returning to the dream a second time. Master Wu let go of the roast duck leg in his mouth, and his eyes dimmed slightly. To be honest, he didn't want Su Yu to enter the dream a second time, because he knew what he had to do, but he also knew that he couldn't change this little idiot. He was too stubborn. Moreover, there was the girl he loved deeply in his dream. "Master, there's not much time left. Now that things have come to this, please don't hold me back. Saving a life is more meritorious than building a 7-storied pagoda. I'm going back this time to save all my friends. It's not difficult to enter the dream, but we have to find the hypnotist who lured you in. I have to go through her to get you back." At this point, Master Wu was no longer in the mood to eat. He threw the remaining roast duck leg into the trash can. Then he rubbed his oily hand against the corner of his shirt. He really didn't care about trifles. However, Su Yu was not in the mood to tease Master Wu. He didn't have much time left, Mian didn't have much time left, and everyone didn't have much time left. Hypnotist. There are only a few hours left. How am I supposed to find her? Su Yu was in despair. Where was he supposed to find Zheng Ro in this sea of people? Wasn't this like looking for a needle in a haystack? Don't worry. With so many of you entering the dream at the same time, the hypnotist won't go far in order to help the dream creator control the situation. She should be in this city, and she might not be far from your residence, Master Wu said with certainty. Master Wu's words surprised Su Yu. Chapter 44-35. Really, is she in this city? Su Yu was pleasantly surprised at first, but after thinking it through, his eyes dimmed. That's still hard to find. It's such a big city, even the police can't find her. What are we going to do? She doesn't have a GPS on her. Plus, she must be hiding very well. We won't find her easily. Su Yu was almost certain that it was Zheng Ro. This was because there were only 2 newcomers in their group. One was Zheng Ro and the other was Han Yueao. Su Yu liked Han Yueao more, so he didn't want to suspect her. Especially just now, Master Wu's meaning was obvious. The hypnotist and the dream creator were in cahoots. In order to maintain the dream, they wouldn't go far. Therefore, they wouldn't leave this city. However, on the way back, Su Yu took the time to read the report in the company's group chat. He accidentally saw Han Yueao's schedule. Han Yueao had already gone overseas to film a martial arts movie 3 days ago. There were a lot of fighting scenes, so she went to a film studio to stay for 2 months. Thus, he was even more certain that Han Yueao wasn't the hypnotist. Then, only Zheng Ro was left. Zheng Ro's appearance made Su Yu uncomfortable. It was as if this woman was very scheming and couldn't be seen through. In the end, Su Yu still didn't understand who Zheng Ro was and who she worked for. Now that Master Wu wanted him to find Zheng Ro in such a short time, it was also a problem. Seeing Su Yu's melancholy, Master Wu said slowly, "This woman was very close to you guys, right?" "Yeah, she stayed at my house for a while," Su Yu told the truth. "She stayed at your house, that's easy. Do you have anything she used?" Su Yu thought for a moment, ran to a cabinet on the first floor, and took out a paper bag. Inside were some toiletries from when Zheng Ro was around, and had packed them up and didn't have the time to throw them away. Master Wu flipped through it and pulled out a strand of hair from a towel. "Very good. With it, I can help you find them. You just need to capture them." "That's great, Master. You're too amazing. I really want to kiss you." Seeing that Master Wu had a way to find Zheng Ro, Suyu was overjoyed and hugged Master Wu's neck. However, Master Wu kicked him away. "Brat, don't take advantage of me." In the living room, Master Wu took out 3 incense sticks from his cloth bag. Then, he sat down cross-legged and placed Xingrou's hair on an incense stick in the middle of the room. Instantly, the smell of burning filled the air. Then, Master Wu took out a compass. The innermost part was written with conviction and conviction. Suyu didn't hear it clearly, but it had been less than 5 minutes. Master Wu stood up and put away the compass. "This woman lives in a courtyard about 5 kilometers northeast of your current residence. It's a bungalow with a large locust tree at the entrance." After getting the detailed information, Suyu made a phone call. Xingrou probably didn't expect to be caught, and her location was so accurate. 5 kilometers northeast of Suyu's private villa was a civilian area that hadn't been demolished. Inside, there were a few nail households and a few deserted houses. The people Suyu sent were the elites of the SWAT team. They were people who were mobilized because of the old master. When Xingrou was brought to Suyu's villa, especially when she saw Suyu, she was shocked. It was almost as if he was shocked, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. "Suyu, how did you?" Xingrou's eyes widened. "You probably didn't expect to see me again, right? Grand hypnotist." Suyu smiled faintly. Chapter 44-36. Xingrou had never thought that she would be able to see Suyu again. This was because she had been ordered to come into contact with Suyu and be with Suyu, chasing after Suyu. Everyone thought it was true. It was undeniable that Suyu was a good man. Any woman who spent time with him for a long time would be moved. Therefore, Xingrou had warned herself countless times not to fall in love with Suyu. This was because her big boss's ultimate goal was to obtain the Red Demon. And Suyu and the others would all become sacrificial lambs. As for Xingrou, her resume was blank and no one could find any clues. That was because the resume itself was fake. However, Xingrou was chosen and trusted by the big boss not because she was beautiful, but because she was too beautiful. It wasn't because Xingrou was smart or skilled. In fact, Xingrou's martial arts were only superficial. After a while, Xingrou calmed down. She looked at Suyu and said faintly, "You actually escaped." "Yeah, I've always been lucky. Otherwise, I would have been killed by you guys. But I'm very curious, Xingrou. What grudge do we have? Why do you want to kill us? You hypnotized all of us alone. How can you bear to kill so many people at once? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning?" Suyu used to think that women like Mo Shui, Zhao Qingya, Jian Tong, and Song Yishe were already vicious. However, they only harmed Huamin because of him and Qin Chu. As for Xingrou, Suyu knew that Xingrou definitely wouldn't do this because she liked him. However, once Xingrou attacked, they would indeed be wiped out. To kill so many people, and to do it quietly, this was a terrifying poisonous woman. This was the true heart of a snake and scorpion. "Hee, I was just following orders," Xingrou chuckled and said casually. "Orders? Whose orders are you following?" "You know I won't tell you, but you're really capable. You were able to escape and capture me. You must have been taught by an expert, right?" Xingrou had been living abroad when she was a hypnotist. This was because not many people in the country knew about the hypnotist industry. Therefore, if Suyu didn't have an expert by his side, he wouldn't have been able to escape and capture her. "I'll give you a chance. Xingrou, help me save my friend and you'll make up for your mistake. I won't hold you responsible." "What a joke. Are you asking me to betray my boss?" Xingrou sneered. "What else? Do you want to die?" Suyu pulled out a dagger and pressed it against Xingrou's neck. At this moment, Suyu really wanted to kill her. Even if this woman died 100 times, it wouldn't be a pity. But Xingrou had a terrifying talent. She is a famous hypnotist in the field of hypnosis, codename Lin. Therefore, many people knew about Lin, the hypnotist, but not Xingrou. If it weren't for Master Wu's reminder, Suyu might not have known Xingrou's true identity. After Xingrou hypnotized everyone, she had been hiding in the dark. Actually, she was conflicted. After all, these people would all die in the end. She could be indifferent when others died, but if Su Yu died in his dream, she couldn't bear it. However, she didn't dare to disobey the orders of her boss. Therefore, when Xingro saw Su Yu again, she had mixed feelings. On one hand, she was shocked that Su Yu had woken up. He wasn't in a dream. On the other hand, Su Yu waking up meant that he had escaped the nightmare. This was a good thing for him. Xingro was relieved that Su Yu wasn't dead. Chapter 44-37. Master Wu just watched quietly from the side and didn't stop Su Yu. Su Yu used all his strength to press the tip of the knife against her neck. Therefore, slightly blood seeped out. However, there was no fear in Xingro's eyes. She continued to smile. Su Yu, if you want to kill me, hurry up. Don't waste time. I won't tell you anything you want to ask. Xingro, I'm not asking for too much. I just want you to help me save my friends. You have friends and family too. How can you be so cruel? When you were here, we didn't neglect you. People's hearts are made of flesh. Do you really have a heart of stone? Su Yu actually wanted to move her. After all, with Xingro's status, even if she was tortured, she probably wouldn't say anything. Unfortunately, everything didn't go so smoothly. Su Yu, I really don't have the ability to save them. In the dream, everything is decided by the dream creator. If I enter the dream now, I'll definitely be treated as an outsider and tortured to death. The result will be the same, so I might as well die in your hands. After all, you're the only man I've ever truly liked in my life. With that, Xingro licked Su Yu's hand. Su Yu immediately pulled the dagger back and threw it on the ground. Then, he took out a tissue and wiped his hands. You disgust me. Su Yu glared at her and stood up. Master, it's your turn. This woman is stubborn. Su Yu knew that Xingro didn't want to tell him or help him into the dream, but Master Wu definitely had a way. As expected, Master Wu slowly stood up. He patted the dust off his body. He walked up to Xingro, the most famous hypnotist on the dark web. Lin, right? Master Wu said. Xingro was slightly stunned when she heard someone call her by her name. Then, she looked at the middle-aged man with messy hair who was dressed in a rustic manner. She was curious and vigilant. Say, you're so young. Of all the things you could do, you chose to be an executioner. My foolish disciple still hopes to move you with the emotional card. That's because he doesn't know about the glorious deeds you've done in the past. At this point, Su Yu was startled. Why did it sound like his master knew more than him? Wasn't this the first time Master met Xingro? Xingro remained calm, but the arrogance and smugness in her eyes were gone. As a high-level hypnotist, you've been contacting those perverts on the dark web, helping them hypnotize the targets they want to attack, and then sending them all over the world. Most of the hypnotized targets are beautiful girls between the ages of 16 to 21, and most of them are used as prostitutes and eventually tortured to death. Every year, through your hands, there are at least 80 girls who go missing, if not 100, right? Xingro stared at the man in front of her in disbelief. "For you?" she asked Master Wu. Master Wu only chuckled and didn't answer. When Su Yu heard this, he felt the blood in his body freeze. Master, is this all true? Su Yu used to think that Xingro was a little hypocritical and unlikable. She was a little scheming. Now, it seemed that it wasn't just that. She was really a demon who killed without batting an eyelid. She could actually hypnotize those girls and take them away, and she didn't seem to feel guilty at all. It's not just that. What she's done in the past few years is far dirtier than we thought. Otherwise, how did her father get his position? Master Wu sneered. At this moment, Xingro stared into Master Wu's eyes and said in a hollow voice, "Look into my eyes. There's a small path in front of you. It twists and turns, and it leads to the deepest part of the forest." Su Yu screamed in his heart. This woman was going to hypnotize his master. Chapter 44-38. Before Su Yu could tell Master Wu to be careful of Xingro, he felt his vision go dark, and then he entered another scene. Su Yu looked down at his surroundings. He was surrounded by green fog. There was only a winding path under his feet. In front of him was a dense forest. Su Yu. I'm here. A girl's voice came from the depths of the forest. At first, Suyu didn't hear it clearly, but when he listened carefully he realized that voice was actually Mion's. Suyu, come find me. I'm here. Then, there was another series of laughter. Suyu had always been unable to control his feelings for Huamin. Just listening to her voice made him feel very close. Therefore, he didn't have time to think about anything else. He just followed the path under his feet. Because he was blocked by the fog, he couldn't see clearly, so he could only grope his way forward. Suyu shouted as he walked, Min, is that you? Me? Answer me. However, Suyu didn't get any response after shouting for a long time. In a daze, Suyu saw a fleeting figure standing not far ahead. Mian, is that you? He asked again. But he still didn't get an answer. Suyu tried to continue forward, but the closer he got, the more he realized that the figure seemed to be holding something in her hand. He felt that something was wrong. That's not right. Mian is pregnant. Shouldn't she be pregnant? That person isn't Mian. When Suyu realized that the slender figure wasn't Huamin, suddenly he heard footsteps. Suyu, come here. Why aren't you walking? The voice was still Huamin's, but it sounded distant and close at times. It was extremely strange. Suyu stood where he was, feeling like he had forgotten something. What had he forgotten? As he pondered, he subconsciously reached out to touch his neck. Sure enough, he touched the amulet. Then, his mind exploded. This isn't reality. He's being hypnotized. This is an illusion. That person isn't Huamin. This is all part of Xingrou's plan. After Suyu muttered to himself, he closed his eyes and began chanting the familiar Great Compassion mantra with the amulet in hand. Sure enough, in an instant, that scene collapsed before his eyes. When Suyu opened his eyes again, he found himself back in the real world. He immediately went to check on Master Wu, afraid that Master Wu would be tricked by Xingrou like him. However, Master Wu was calmly sitting on the chair with his legs crossed. Meanwhile, Xingrou's head was covered by a white cloth by Master Wu. She looked like a dead person and was terrified. Suyu was dumbfounded. Not bad. You can still remember that you were hypnotized. I thought you were trapped by this woman. Then, Master, why aren't you saving me? Suyu rolled his eyes at Master Wu. It was obvious that Master Wu was more skilled and didn't fall for it. Instead, Suyu, who was facing Xingrou, fell for it. Save you? How many more times can I save you? This is just an appetizer. This woman only used hypnotism. Once you return to the dream, you won't be facing such a low-level hypnotist. You'll be facing 4 high-level dream creators. Who can save you then? Master Wu had never spoken to Suyu in such a serious tone. Therefore, Suyu knew that his master was not exaggerating. Chapter 4439. As an entry-level hypnotist, Xingrou was already very evil and powerful. If Suyu returned to the dream, it would be even more dangerous. Master Wu had also said that as an outsider, he was not considered by the dream creator. It would take at least 3 to 5 months for him to enter the dream. There was not enough time. Therefore, it was impossible for him to accompany Suyu into the dream. Therefore, when Xingrou used hypnotism, Master Wu did not stop her. In fact, he also wanted to see how strong Suyu was. Could he save himself in the face of such a sudden incident? Fortunately, Suyu was smart and was not trapped by Xingrou's hypnotism. This more or less made Master Wu feel more at ease. After Suyu woke up, Master Wu picked up a white cloth and covered Xingrou's head. Because her hands and feet were tied, she couldn't resist. It was obvious that he didn't want to be hypnotized by her eyes. However, when she heard Master Wu say that Suyu was going back to the dream, Xingrou seemed surprised. Su, you're going back to the dream? Xingrou's voice was sharp. What does that have to do with you? Now that he knew Xingrou's true identity, Suyu hated her even more. Although Suyu didn't think he was a kind person, for someone like Xingrou who had done many evil things, she was simply a scourge in the world. Suyu, are you courting death? Do you know that people who enter the dream a second time will never come back? Don't be fooled by this stinky Daoist priest. How much did he charge you? Zheng Ro felt that it was ridiculous for Su Yu to find a swindler somewhere. If he entered the dream a second time, he might be tortured to death. Ha, even if I'm a stinky Daoist priest, I'm still stronger than you. I won't do anything outrageous. Master Wu chuckled. Su Yu looked at Zheng Ro, who was covered by a white cloth, and was very annoyed. Master, let's cut the crap. We've found the hypnotist. Send me back. Master Wu knew that Su Yu was referring to the dream. If you go back, they'll kill you. Zheng Ro was so anxious that she almost stomped her foot. Although she had done something unfavorable to Su Yu, she couldn't just watch Su Yu go back to die. She must be feeling terrible. She knew very well how many dream creators there were in the dream. She knew very well where those dream creators came from and who they were loyal to. As for the abilities of those dream creators, there was no need to mention them. Any one of them would be able to beat her. Therefore, she felt that Su Yu was crazy to have such perverted dream creators in there, and there were 4 of them. Seeing that Zheng Ro was anxious, Su Yu smiled. Are you referring to those dream creators? Zheng Ro remained silent. She didn't know that Su Yu knew so much even about dream creators. Zheng Ro, if you want to repent, I'll give you a chance. Tell me, who are the dream creators? Su Yu didn't have much hope when he asked. After all, Zheng Ro had been a bad person for so long, so she definitely wouldn't speak easily. As expected, Zheng Ro didn't say anything. You won't be able to get anything out of her. She probably doesn't dare to say anything. Master Wu guessed. Su Yu, can't you just live well? Why do you have to go back and die? Zheng Ro didn't understand. Su Yu was rich, handsome, and powerful. Was he tired of living? Why did he have to go back to the dream to die? My friends are still here. I can't leave them behind. Ha, you can't let go of Huamin, right? Zheng Ro laughed bitterly. She had never envied any woman in her life, but now she was suddenly envious of Huamin. There was actually an idiot like Su Yu who was willing to go through fire for her. Chapter 4440. At the mention of Huamin, Su Yu's expression changed slightly. Actually, he knew in his heart that no matter when, where, or under any circumstances, the name Huamin was destined to be a curse that he would never be able to get rid of. Master, let's not waste time talking to this woman. Let's begin. Su Yu kept looking at his watch. He knew that time was limited, so he didn't want to waste too much time talking to Zheng Ro. In the past, he might have felt a little guilty towards Zheng Ro. But now, Su Yu felt that there was no longer any emotional entanglement between him and Zheng Ro. There was only the fact that good and evil could not coexist. Okay, let's go out first. Master Wu also stood up slightly. However, before he left, he still took out a yellow talisman and stuck it on Zheng Ro's forehead. He knew what Zheng Ro was capable of, so he didn't want her to hypnotize Su Yu's subordinates and escape. Master Wu and Su Yu walked out of the secret room one after another. Master, what do I need to prepare for the second dream entry? You and that woman are enough. Master Wu's tone was heavy. So simple. Then hurry up, we don't have much time. Su Yu looked at his watch again. However, Master Wu wasn't in a hurry to answer him. Instead, he tugged at Su Yu's sleeve and the 2 of them went to the balcony on the 2nd floor of the villa. The girl you like is called Huamin? Master Wu didn't know Huamin. He had only heard about it from Zheng Ro. Yes. Although Su Yu felt embarrassed, he still nodded and admitted it. Do you think it's worth risking your life for the girl you like? Su Yu didn't say anything. Do you think you can face your parents and your grandfather? The Su family has very few people to begin with. Do you have the heart to let them send you off? Indeed, the problem that Master Wu mentioned was something that Su Yu didn't dare to face head-on. Su Yu was the kind of child who grew up with a golden spoon in his mouth. When he was born, he had everything. With the Su family's status in this city, they could get whatever they wanted. Su Yu had also lived a life of luxury since he was young. He enjoyed the love of his parents and his grandfather. His life had been so smooth, therefore, this decision was indeed somewhat selfish. According to China's traditional thinking, one's body, hair, and skin were all given to one's parents. Seeking death was a great unfilial act. However, Su Yu also understood that if he didn't go, then he would be a walking corpse for the rest of his life. Therefore, after Master Wu asked this question, Su Yu smiled and took out a pack of soft zhonghua. He handed one to Master Wu and took one himself. Master, tell me, what is the purpose of living? Your question is too broad. I don't even know how to answer you. Master Wu smiled as well. Su Yu took a puff of his cigarette and continued, actually, I think that no matter how one lives, one's life has to be meaningful. One can't just be muddle-headed and live in this world for decades. Some people actually die at the age of 30 and are only buried at the age of 70. That kind of death of the soul is actually more terrifying than the death of the body. My good brothers and good friends are like my soul to me. It's because of their existence that a living, flesh and blood Su Yu was created. If I gave up on saving them because I was afraid of death this time, then my soul would die as well. The rest of my life would be just dawdling around until I'm 70 or 80 years old. Then I'll be buried like this for the rest of my life. I know that I've let down my parents and grandfather with this decision, but I believe that compared to death, they don't want to see me live like a walking corpse for the rest of my life. You dumb little donkey. You're really good at talking about grand principles. Master Wu smiled bitterly. He already knew that even 10 cows wouldn't be able to pull back the stubborn Su Yu. He was determined to enter the dream a second time and face those almost impossible missions. Chapter 44-41. Hee, Master, I'm actually not that stupid, am I? Besides, I still have my amulet and great compassion mantra. In order not to worry Master Wu, Su Yu touched the amulet on his neck. However, Master Wu gave him a profound look. Previously, your amulet and great compassion mantra were useful because you realized that you were dreaming, so you woke up. However, people who enter a dream a second time won't wake up. Therefore, your amulet and great compassion mantra are almost useless this time. Then what should I do? Why don't I bring an AK-47 and kill all those dream creators? Su Yu was only joking. However, Master Wu couldn't laugh at all. You can't bring anything in. I don't have the ability to let you bring weapons in, because that's a dream created by them. Whatever they say will happen. Whoa, that dream creator is so awesome. It makes me want to be a dream creator too. Su Yu was amused. Stop laughing. You probably won't be able to cry later. Master, please. As your disciple, I don't think I've given you any gifts. I know you treat money like dirt, so I won't give you any money. Who said that? Who doesn't love money? I'll take as much as you have. Give it to me. Master Wu glared at Su Yu on purpose. Su Yu reached out and took out a small golden bag from his pocket. He had found it when he went back to his bedroom. Su Yu had a lot of good things in his villa, but he was afraid that Master Wu wouldn't want it. Therefore he took this. Master, this is a token of my appreciation. I, Su Yu, am satisfied to be your disciple in this life. Su Yu handed over the yellow bag with both hands. What is it? I don't want diamonds or jewelry. I don't have a wife, so it's useless even if I want it. Master Wu waved his hand, afraid that Su Yu would give him some gold, diamonds, agate, or jewelry. None of them. Take a look first. Su Yu smiled mysteriously. Master Wu looked at Su Yu and then at the yellow bag. Finally, he picked it up and slowly opened it. When he took it out, he realized that it was just a string of prayer beads. However, these were not ordinary Buddhist beads. Almost all of Su Yu's things were made by famous masters. They were either bought at an auction or given to him by his friends on his birthday. The Su family was a Buddhist family. Therefore, on Su Yu's birthday, his uncle, who was Su Xiaoxiao's grandfather, was there. He got this good thing from the south for him. However, Su Yu had never liked wearing them. After all, in this era where culture was rampant, wearing such a large string of Buddha beads would make one look like a nouveau riche. Who would have thought that it would come in handy today? Master Wu was quite knowledgeable and immediately saw through it. This is the Vajra Bodhi, right? Master has good foresight. It's too expensive. I don't want it. This thing is worth at least 3 to 5 million yuan, Master Wu said firmly. Although he was poor and had poor food and accommodation, it didn't mean that he hadn't seen good things. Especially the 4 green beads in the middle of the bracelet, they looked priceless. Master Wu could tell that they were expensive Buddha beads, so he refused to accept them. However, Su Yu forcefully put the Buddha beads on Master Wu's hand. Master, take it? Back then, when Sun Wukong became Tang Sanzang's disciple, he even knew to escort him to the Western Paradise to retrieve the scriptures and kill demons. As for me, I can't do anything for you. After I enter the dream this time, I might never have the chance to do anything for you again. Just treat it as a memento. You and I are master and disciple. After all, we are fated. Su Yu put on the Buddha beads for Master Wu. Shut up, stupid donkey. Stop talking. I don't want to hear that. Master Wu's eyes were moist. Chapter 44-42. Although Master Wu was a rough man in the mountains, he was very meticulous. He had lived a carefree and unrestrained life. He didn't expect to have such a deep relationship with this brat whom he had only known for a few days. Actually, it was also fate that Su Yu's mother was an old friend of Master Wu's senior sister. None of this was important. What was important was that Master Wu valued this kid's character. It was said that other than life and death, everything else in this world was trivial. However, Su Yu knew that he was going to die, but he still wanted to go. There probably weren't many people like him left, right? Let's not talk about this anymore. Come, Master, take it. This is my gift for acknowledging you as my master. Su Yu tried his best to ask Master Wu to accept the priceless Buddha beads so that they wouldn't waste their fate as masters. Seeing Su Yu's sincerity, Master Wu didn't continue to be pretentious. He slapped his thigh and touched the Buddha beads. All right, since you've given it to me, I'll accept it shamelessly. But as your master, I'll have to give you something in return. I've been poor for half my life, and I don't have anything valuable on me. All I have is some scrap metal, and you won't be interested in them. How about this? I'll give you a peace rope. With that, Master Wu bent down and took out a red rope that looked like a china knot from his old bag. There was only a red rope and no other decorations. It looked very monotonous. However, since it was Master Wu's red rope, it must be something good. It couldn't be as simple as an ordinary red rope. Su Yu didn't ask further and happily put the red rope on his hand. Then he heard Master Wu say, "This red rope has been consecrated. I personally knitted it. It doesn't have any special effects. It's just a peace rope. In your dream, it might not have any effect. Consider it a blessing from me. Even if you can't come back, I hope you'll be fine in your dream." When Master Wu said this, his heart ached. Unexpectedly, after Su Yu put it on happily, he chuckled and then joked, "With this artifact given by Master, I'll definitely be like a fish in water in my dream. By then, I'll probably be drunk every day, eating, drinking, playing, and flirting with girls until my waist and legs ache. That's really the life of an immortal. It's better than real life." Master Wu knew that Su Yu had said that on purpose because he didn't want to be emotional and make him feel so upset. "Alright, that's it then. Cut the crap, I'll go and prepare. I'll give you 1 more hour. If you want to meet someone or go somewhere, then hurry up and go. After all, after you enter the dream a second time, you won't be able to come back." Although this sounded ominous and uncomfortable, it was an unchangeable fact. Su Yu nodded and instructed his subordinates to prepare some things for Master Wu that he would need later. Then he drove the Lamborghini 6th Elemental back to the Su family's old mansion. Su Yu's Lamborghini had crashed once, and he was too lazy to fix it. He didn't want to buy the same car. However, the old man doted on his grandson. When he heard that the car had broken down, he got someone to customize an identical one overseas for him. Su Yu's Lamborghini had mixed feelings as he drove. His car stopped near the old mansion. Yes, he didn't plan to go back and see his mother for the last time. It was just a farewell. He didn't want to make it so sad. Perhaps after seeing her, it would be even harder to part with her. Su Yu sat in the car for a while. Then he got out of the car and kowtowed 3 times in the direction of the old mansion. Chapter 44-43. Grandpa Dedma, I'm unfilial. I'll repay you for raising me in my next life. With that, Su Yu kowtowed with tears in his eyes, got into the car and sped away. At this moment, regarding the company, career, contract, money, savings, he didn't want to explain anything, and he couldn't be bothered to do so. There were still 25 minutes left before his master gave him the time. Su Yu drove for a spin on the way back and thought about everything that had happened recently. He wanted to know the whole story from start to finish. First, many things that happened between him and Han Yueyao were in his dreams, including the death of Lin Hang, Xiao coming back to hire someone to kill him, and Han Yueyao leaving the entertainment industry to return to her hometown. These all happened in his dreams. In real life, Han Yueyao was still a small character in his company. Although she didn't stand out or become famous, she had already started to play small roles or show her face in some TV series. Second, reality and dreams kept combining, making it hard to tell what happened in the dream and what happened in reality. However, the good news was that the monster, Layla, also appeared in the dream, so there was no monster that drank human blood. Not many people in this city died because of this, including those who were killed by Jingda. Or rather, Bella, who became a vegetable, Jixin's wife, also became a vegetable in the dream. In the real world, she might be fine. Su Yu didn't have time to verify this. According to Master Wu, his current deduction was correct. Third, Zheng Ro was indeed a hypnotist. As a guide, she led so many people into the dream and into the big picture. The Zheng Ro in the dream, the Zheng meat that Huasiqian said was dead, was made up by the dream creator. It wasn't real, so Zheng Ro didn't die. Fourth, was Huasiqian really dead or was he faking it? He saw him explode in front of him with his own eyes. However, according to Master Wu, if Huasiqian didn't enter the dream and that Huasiqian was made up, then the real Huasiqian might still be alive. However, if Huasiqian also entered the dream and was killed in the dream, then he was really dead. Just like all of them, if they were killed in the dream, they would be dead. He didn't have time to investigate Huasiqian now, because if he wanted to investigate Huasiqian, he had to start with the prison. Gao Ran had already entered the dream, so he had to alert his grandfather. However, his grandfather was still in the capital, so he didn't have that much time for him. Therefore, Su Yu decided to keep this matter to himself. When he returned to the dream, he would confirm and analyze it with Qin Chu. Fifth, there were 4 dream creators in the dream, and their identities were all hidden. No one knew who they were. In Master Wu's words, dream creators were the best at disguising themselves. If they disguised themselves as your friend, you wouldn't be able to tell. Therefore, anyone could be suspected, including Qin Chu and Huamin. This was also the biggest problem. Su Yu wasn't Sherlock Holmes, so he couldn't verify who was real and who was a dream creator. Sixth, Zheng Ro was used as a catalyst to lure so many people into the dream. It made sense for those who had come into contact with Zheng Ro to successfully enter the dream, but how did those who had never come into contact with Zheng Ro enter the dream? For example, Xiao Fei, Lu Yen, Professor Rick, even Ian Nalo? How did those people get in? Were those people all imaginary? With so many questions on his mind, Su Yu drove the car to the private mansion at the appointed time. Then, he asked his subordinates to leave and locked the door. Chapter 44-44. Master, how are the preparations? It's almost done. Then, Master Wu looked out the window. The moment the sun sets, we'll start. I'll send you in. After you enter, you'll definitely attract the attention of the 4 dream creators. After all, in their eyes, you're a fish that escaped the net. After you return to the dream world, you'll be hunted down by them. But the good thing is that you can successfully divert their attention so that they can't immediately attack your friends. That's great. Su Yu smiled. Stupid donkey, you're being hunted down, yet you can still smile. But it can buy more time for everyone. It means that it's meaningful for me to go back. Sigh. Hearing Su Yu's words, Master Wu sighed slightly and didn't know what to say. By the way, Master, before entering the dream, there are 2 things I want to know. Su Yu thought about the questions in his heart. Ask away. The first question is, if Zheng Ro, the woman inside, hypnotized everyone into a dream, you mean that she had to come into contact with everyone to have a chance to drug them into a dream, right? Master Wu nodded. But what if people she hasn't come into contact with also entered the dream? Does that mean those people are all fictional? Or did the dream creators change them? Su Yu actually wanted to ask why Qiao Fei, Lu Yen, and the professor, who had nothing to do with Zheng Ro, had all entered the dream. Master Wu explained, let me give you an example. For example, something happened in a village and someone saw it. Then he slowly spread the news and told everyone. 1 person spread the news, 10 people spread it to 100 people, understand? Master, you mean that the drug can be spread? Even if Zheng Ro hasn't come into direct contact with some people, as long as they come into contact with her, they will still be affected? Smart. This was the first time Master Wu had praised Su Yu because he realized that Su Yu's logical thinking was actually very strong. Then I understand. Lin Fan nodded. It occurred to Su Yu that Zheng Ro might have drugged Huamin the most. Huamin believed it and treated the dream as reality. Naturally, he would bring Lu Yen and Xiao Fei into the dream. Since Lu Yen and Xiao Fei had the opportunity to meet the professor, it made sense that the professor entered the dream. Master, let me ask the second question. A dream creator can transform into anyone, so after I enter the dream, should I first treat everyone as a suspect before eliminating them one by one? You can think of it that way. But there are so many people. It's not easy to eliminate them. How can I find 4 dream creators in such a short time? This was what Su Yu was most worried about. It didn't matter if he sacrificed himself. What he was most afraid of was that even if he sacrificed himself, he wouldn't be able to save everyone. Wouldn't that be a wasted sacrifice? To be honest, there's no shortcut to this. You can only observe it yourself. How should I put it? No matter how powerful a dream creator is, no matter how realistic his creation is, there will still be flaws. You have to observe carefully. Didn't you tell me about the roast duck before? Even in your dream, you could sense that something was wrong. There was something wrong with the smell of the roast duck, which made you lose interest. So, this is actually a method. You have to find out that this person is different from before in some small details. If there's something strange about him, then he must be a dream creator. Master Wu tried his best to explain in detail so that Su Yu could understand instantly. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.